What's going on, guys? I'm TieFly85.
And I'm T-Rec87. And today we thought we were going to review Wolfenstein 2 for you guys. We both rented it over the last week, gave it a good playthrough, beat the game, and we wanted to talk to you about it today. The first thing we were going to talk about was just the gameplay of Wolfenstein. TieFly, I'll let you kick that off if you want. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think as far as the gameplay overall, the mechanics of it and all of that kind of stuff, it was great. I really liked it and enjoyed from start to finish. I would say.
I did too, honestly. And Wolfenstein actually, and before we get too far into this review, this is something I want to mention to you guys. Wolfenstein is one of those games that I myself and TieFly85, we both never played this game, this series at all. I'd always seen Wolfenstein in the past, and I was just like, yeah, you get to kill Nazis, cool. You know, and it's just one of those games that always got skipped for me. I never thought much of it. It looked okay. You know, but it wasn't something I ever really wanted to play. And I feel like that's something that, this is one of those game franchises that is fairly popular, but I feel like a lot of people feel that way about it as well, where they skipped over it, they didn't really play it. But as far as my thoughts go on the gameplay section, mechanically, this game is very sound. It's a very solid shooter. The weapons are a lot of fun to use. You know, you get like grenade launchers, and everyone's got a good theme to it. You know, it's all just got this very futuristic, but at the same time set in like the 50s or 40s or whatever for World War II. It's got like this theme where everything is different than it would be, you know, compared to our timeline, because it's like an alternate universe where the Nazis won the war. And the heavy weapons you get are especially a lot of fun. At one point in the game, multiple points in the game, you end up fighting like these Nazis that are armored, and they have like these heavy like grenade launchers or machine guns or like these laser beam rifles. And they're a lot of fun to pick up once you take them down. And I was actually watching, it's funny because I was watching TieFly85's stream when he was playing. And the first time he picked up a laser rifle, his reaction was the exact same as my reaction the first time I picked one up. Because you can actually melt through, like if the enemies are behind like a metal barrier for cover or anything like that, you end up like melting through it, and then you end up like, you know, frying the enemy. And his reaction was just like, oh wow, that was really cool, you know, like. And so mechanically this game's a lot of fun. I think there are other shooters out there that may be a little more polished. But it's just a good time all around. And also, TieFly, you had mentioned something about there's kind of like a stealth mechanic to the game.
The game overall itself, I really enjoyed the stealthiness of it, where it tried to get you to go stealthy. So when you came across any type of enemies, it basically would bring up this thing where it would be like if you got detected within a certain amount of time, like the alarm would go off and then everybody shows up to get you. So it really reminded me a lot of Metal Gear Solid, where you had to kind of like sneak around and get to the people and like that kind of feeling. It had that kind of feeling, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was an awesome part of the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I liked sneaking around. Like, I could tell once you go into, like, a room, there'd be, you know, different guards at their different posts walking around patrolling, and it would behoove you to probably try and take as many of them out quietly as you could before you got caught, before the alarm goes off, because, you know, pardon my language, but once the alarms go off, all hell breaks loose. It's just, you know, you've got enemies coming from every different direction, you're getting shot at from every different direction, and it can get super chaotic. So it was cool to see that, and where they didn't ever specifically really tell you to try to be stealthy, but it's something that through playing you're like, oh, I should probably try. You know, but there is also the alternative method, and just trying to run up to every single guard and melee them, which was my primary method of killing all the Nazis. Was just, you know, you get a hatchet in the beginning of the game. And that's something I do want to mention about this game, for anybody watching. This game does not shy away from being bloody and gory, and I mean, it is in the same vein and genre as like Doom. So it does not shy away from showing you blood and gore and you know, missing legs and stuff like that. So do be warned if you're thinking about running this game. If you're not into like gory violence, this isn't for you. So
yeah, it's definitely very, very violent game. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely something like different and new. I would say there's a little bit of the game itself overall that's something new.
Absolutely.
That Yeah, I would definitely say
I think
it's a great game.
As far as like the shooter genre goes, they definitely have carved their own path. They've taken their own direction in what they're doing, and it's a unique perspective on the shooter genre. And it's, like I said, mechanically this game is very sound. It's very fun to play, and along with like the blood and gore and everything like that, like they don't shy away from that. Story wise, the characters themselves are all very unique. When it's whether it's William J. Blazkowicz, the main character, who's kind of just this hardened war hero, boots to the ground, beat up some Nazis type of guy, and he is a very classic video game character trope, but I think he's a very good character. Whether it's him or Wyatt is one of the other great characters of the game. He's like he seems really like mild-mannered in the beginning of the game, and through the course of the game, he just starts getting loonier and loonier. I'm not going to tell you why. You need to play it on your own to find out. But he gets really out there towards the end of the game. And then my other favorite character, and I gotta say, is the main boss, the main antagonist, Irene Engel, sorry. She made a very good antagonist, and I genuinely hated her throughout the course of the game. I absolutely wanted to, take her down. But there were other characters too. I don't know. Do you have any other characters that you enjoyed a lot?
I really enjoyed how they actually did the whole backstory of Blazkowicz, how he would have sometimes flashbacks of when he was a child, and you got to see a little bit of that. And then also when he did flashbacks of his mom and dad. Like, that was pretty interesting. So the overall storyline of trying to set up this character to show you what a little bit of his backstory was, as well as some of the other characters, like you had Grace Walker, who ended up coming between like somewhere towards the middle of the game. Basically a whole new group of people join for the revolution. But Grace Walker, I would say, definitely was one of the characters.
Oh, we had a little internet cut out there.
And definitely pulled up the storyline.
Your side of the internet cut out a little bit there. Just so you're aware.
Sorry. Yeah, but Grace Walker, though, I mean, she definitely held up the story overall. Like, I enjoyed watching every time that she was on screen, like her character. It was awesome. Also, another really funny one too was a character called Super Spesh, and he played like the lawyer character within the game. He was super hilarious. Like, he was so funny. I'd probably say hands down my favorite character.
I like Super Spesh a lot. He was one of my favorites too. And actually another one of the characters I really liked, and for the reason I liked him is because I hated him so much, but was Rip Blazkowicz, the main character's father in those flashback scenes. I mean, right away this game kicks off, and they do a great job. And I realize it's probably not that hard to hate Nazis, but they do a real great job of making you immediately hate Nazis. And he is definitely... He's not a Nazi in the beginning of the game in the flashbacks, but he is definitely like a white supremacist, just this bigoted character, and he's very abusive, and he's a terrible person, and just...
He's like a sympathizer. He's a sympathizer.
Yeah,
they make him out to be... Like, not that he's necessarily joined sides with the Nazis, but he's just a sympathizer where, like, this is the way life is now. So, here we go.
But, and later in the game, when you do meet up with him, he is definitely joining the Nazi cause, and the Nazis have treated him very well because of it. He mentions that he's got, like, a giant house and giant farm or whatever. But, yeah, the cast of characters was, I think, great, personally. They're all very unique. Blazkowicz's girlfriend, Anya, is another great character. They're all just very individual. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I would definitely say one of the most interesting characters overall, like, to see within the game was Anya, because Anya from the first one, well, anyways, like, her lover ended up dying from the first one when I read a little bit. And then she ends up getting with Blazkowicz, and now she has twins. So she's the only pregnant one of the whole game. So it's really interesting how they added this pregnant lady to actually a few times within the game save the day So I thought that was really interesting and something unique that I'd never seen before. So
also on a personal note, I love that they're having twins because I have twins. But
yeah.
so I was personally like just like super stoked about that. So yeah, it's a really good story. I mean, the thing about Wolfenstein, and as far as like the story of Wolfenstein goes, it doesn't shy away from what it is. They don't try to pretend to be something they're not. I mean, this game does have its moments where it is like serious, but I feel like it never isn't. It's almost self-aware that they're being a little bit silly with the whole thing. Like everything is just so over the top. You know, there's a scene, and I won't spoil this, but there is a scene in the game with Adolf Hitler, and it's a very over the top scene. You know, makes him look like an absolute nut, which, you know, obviously he was. But just the whole thing is just like so crazy. It's actually ended up being one of my favorite scenes of the game, just because I felt it was so over the top. But the whole game is over the top, you know. Like I said, you know, like when you run up and melee people, you know, you end up like chopping their leg off, or you put a hatchet in their neck. It doesn't pretend to be it's something it's not. They know they're going to be just a gory Nazi killing good time, and that's, you know, what this game sets out to do, and it does a good job. Did you have any thoughts about the story, really? I mean, excuse me.
I mean, the storyline overall was amazing. Like I usually am not one overall to be like, you know, like, oh, the story on this is amazing, or the story, like that kind of stuff. One of the biggest things though for a game that I really like is the storyline. So when you have a really amazing good story, it just adds to the game that much more. And this particular game, I didn't really necessarily know too much about it going into it, but the storyline, like, it was amazing. It was great. Like, it actually makes me want to go back and play Wolfenstein, like the first one before this, to see what actually happened.
Oh, the New Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too, actually, and I think that'll be a game I probably end up trying to rent or pick up for cheap or something like that. And it's funny because the game does do a well enough job of cluing you into what has happened prior to this game to let you know what was going on. Because going in like as newcomers, I knew this game had Nazis, and that was really about it. And it does a very good job of kind of giving some backstory in the first couple minutes of the game, kind of give you an idea what's going on. There is one incredibly strange plot twist in the game, and I won't spoil this for anybody. Typhli, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, because I remember when you were streaming, I was watching your face as you were watching the scene, and you had like utter confusion look on your face. You were like, "What is this? Is this what's happening?" And I just like I was dying because I had already known, because I got to play it a couple days earlier than you. Yeah, it's a very good story. Like I said, I mean, this isn't masterpiece theater, you know, we're talking about, and it's not trying to be. It's just that they know what kind of story they want to tell, and they're going to do a very good job of telling it. Oh, there you go. Sorry, your side froze for a second, so I wasn't sure if you were still there. We're having some intermittent internet issues, and I swear it's not from my end this time. I've got new internet, and it's hardwired, sort of. So, you still there, Typhli?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody.
No, it's okay.
I'm not sure what's happening.
I don't know either. It's just, you know, you keep just like stop freezing. Sorry guys. And as far as, I don't know, did you have anything else specific you wanted to talk about with this game before you gave it a rating?
Overall, I mean, if there was one thing that I would say that I wish that there was more of within the game itself, was the Nazi robot dogs.
Those were pretty cool.
They were really awesome, and I was expecting it all the way from the beginning to the end, and when they didn't show up till about the middle of the game, and then even that scene where you got to actually use one of those Nazi dogs, like that, just, the whole thing, it just was too short. But that was my only gripe with the whole game, was that part of the game was too short. I wanted more.
It was absolutely too short, and now I fully understand why I got this dog whistle. For my loot crate, and so it was too short of a part. I agree. I don't really have anything as far as the game goes that I would necessarily really change. I think everything was really good. I did like that there is a ton of collectibles in this game. if you're somebody that likes a first-person shooter, and you like collecting things throughout the maps, there's loads. There is so many collectibles that, like, I didn't even realize how many there were until I started coming across, like, all these different categories of collectibles in the game. And so that's something that, you know, like, I obviously, like I said, I rented it, so I didn't have, like, a ton of time to, like, play it and replay it. I got through the campaign, and that, you know, I took my time with the campaign, but if you're someone who likes collectibles, this is, you know, and each collectible kind of gives you a piece of lore or backstory, or just something to add to the universe of Wolfenstein. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I did really like that. Like when it was like letters, postcards, diaries, and like a few other things. But if you actually went through and like read each one of them, it added to the lore of the story. So kind of gave you a little bit more on top of the story. So yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I really loved this game.
Yeah.
Because it just had more storyline than you really needed. Like, I swear, I feel like the story had more story than you actually needed to make the game enjoyable.
Oh, sure.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. And I feel like Wolfenstein, like, I think I might have treaded on this a little bit, but I feel like Wolfenstein is one of those series that a lot of people skip over. It's definitely got a following of people that love it, and rightfully so. But a lot of people out there, you know, I feel like myself, have always just skipped over it because I was just kind of like, you know, whatever. And it's got a long, really good history. Like, after I got done playing it, like, I started Wikipediaing and watching YouTube videos and just learning. That's what I do when I get, like, involved with the game, is I freak out and I learn everything I can about it. And I go on, like, these binges where I'm up to, like, 4 in the morning, like, reading about it. And so, like, it just has, like, the universe is really cool. And as far as a rating for the game, I think we are both in agreement that our rating, honestly, is that you should probably just Redbox this game. It's a great game. Like, we have sung nothing but praise for this game. In this day and age, though, and unless you're the type of person that loves first-person shooters, like that's all you play, and you love collectibles, this game definitely does warrant a second playthrough. Once you've beaten it, there are 2 alternate timelines that you get to choose from the beginning of the game. That gives you a different character, and I imagine the cutscenes are a little bit different. I didn't have time to play through it twice. But this game is definitely something that should not be skipped over. It is something that, you know, that you should check out, you should rent. And if you do like this type of game, though, like if you like Doom, if you like Call of Duty, if you like Battlefield, you may want to pick this up. Definitely on sale. I would say I got like probably 10 hours out of the campaign before I beat it, maybe. I think you got about the same amount of time, honestly. And I feel for like at full price for $60, I feel like the value maybe isn't quite there. Whereas like if I pay $60 for the game, and this is just my opinion, in this day and age, if I pay $60 for a game, this game better be something like The Witcher 3, where I'm getting 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours out of this game, you know? 10 hours isn't enough for me to commit, you know, $60. 30, sure, I could do 30, but not 60. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I really thoroughly enjoyed the game. I completely agree. It's definitely a game that everybody should go pick up, rent, you know, play it through. If you have time, play it through a second time to try out the different storylines. Obviously, we didn't have enough time, but I would have loved to have tried that just to see the differences. But overall, yeah, definitely go pick up this game and, you know, rent it from Redbox or rent it from your local video store if that even still exists. But definitely go get this game and try it out because it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, it is for sure. And with that being said, once you play this game, I guarantee you're going to want to go back and play the other games too, just like we have. And that's going to be something in the future. Maybe we'll just do like a Let's Play of some of the older Wolfenstein games. And see if I can find a way to pick them up and play those, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. But really, that's it for today, guys. That's it for this week's review. Stay tuned for next week, where we are both going to be reviewing, and I know this is much to Tyfly's delight, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. And just to kind of give you a surmise of, I think all of you know at this point that he loves horror movies, horror games, stuff like that, and I don't. But I figured this would make him happy. if we reviewed it. And so I'm going to play it all the way through, and he is as well, and we're going to review it next week. So should be a lot of fun. We'll have two very different perspectives, I think. So make sure and come back next week for that. So
yeah, and also too, if any of you want to watch us throughout between now to the next of the week, when we do rent it, I'm going to be streaming on Mixer, as well. I think T-Rec as well will do either Mixer or Twitch. So if anybody wants to check us out, actually playing the game before we do the review, come check us out.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something where like you'll get to see him having a good time. You'll get to see me like edging away from the screen, because I don't like scary stuff really. I don't like that. I just don't like that whole jump out at you scary type thing. It freaks me out. Makes me feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack or something. So anyway, should be pretty fun. Again, it's on mixer.com/TREC87 or Typhla85. Or if you're just on your Xbox, you can also look us up that way because the app is on the Xbox as well. So like I said, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed our review.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
And we will see you again soon.
And always remember, stay awesome.